Imagine a world where the future of electric vehicles hangs in the balance, all because of a political tug-of-war. The Trump administration has finally decided to unfreeze funds for a nationwide network of high-speed EV chargers, but not without a fight. Let's dive into the drama and see how this controversial decision might shape the future of electric transportation in the US. Picture this: a Volkswagen ID.4 electric vehicle plugged into a fast charger in Torrance, California, on February 23, 2024. This scene represents a federal program that has been on hold for 6 long months. But now, the Trump administration is finally restarting it. The National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure, NEVI program, created in 2021 through a bipartisan act of Congress, has been a thorn in the side of President Trump, who has repeatedly denounced it as wasteful. But here's where it gets controversial. The law remains on the books, and Congress has not reversed it. The Department of Transportation, DOT, froze the funds in February, and for months there was no indication of when funding would be restarted. A coalition of more than a dozen states sued the federal government, alleging that the administration was violating the law and defying the will of Congress. A federal judge issued a preliminary injunction in the state's favor, and now the DOT has started the process of unfreezing the money by releasing new guidance. But this is the part most people miss. The administration has removed a number of Biden-era requirements, sparking a new wave of debate. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy made it clear that the administration hasn't changed its mind about the merits of funding chargers. However, they're acknowledging the separation of powers that give Congress, not the executive branch, authority over spending decisions. In a statement posted on the department's website, Duffy wrote, "While I don't agree with subsidizing green energy, we will respect Congress's will and make sure this program uses federal resources efficiently." Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser, who is leading the state's lawsuit against the freeze, called the news encouraging. But he also noted that it's not an automatic end to the legal challenge. It is promising that we're seeing some responses to our lawsuit, and we're seeing some effort to give us the money that Congress has mandated, he told NPR. We're going to stay focused on making sure that all the monies that are promised across this multi-state coalition are in fact given out appropriately. Charging companies and EV advocates have celebrated the end of the freeze, but they're not without their criticisms. Catherine Garcia, the director of the Sierra Club's Clean Transportation for All program, wrote in a statement, "It's ironic that this guidance was sold as cutting red tape, yet all it has accomplished is more than half a year of needless delay." The NEVI program earmarked $5 billion for high-speed EV chargers along highway corridors, designed to serve the needs of long-distance EV drivers. To access the funds, states had to submit a plan for where and how they would build chargers. Once the plan was approved, each state's Department of Transportation would work with companies to install chargers and then get reimbursed by the federal government. But after a slow start, the Trump administration hit the brakes, and funding awards were accelerating through 2024 until the freeze. The slow speed of the rollout has been criticized by both conservative critics of the NEVI program and by some EV advocates who supported the program but wanted it to move faster. Alex Lasker, with the center-left think tank Third Way, co-authored a report earlier this year that said the Biden-era NEVI program suffered from a morass of government red tape, roadblocks, and bureaucracy. The new guidance from the Trump administration strips out a number of requirements added under Biden. States will no longer be required to engage with rural or underserved communities while planning charger locations. They do not need to direct benefits toward disadvantaged communities. They don't need to demonstrate that they've factored in labor or safety standards or provided opportunities for minority-owned businesses. They won't need to address evacuations, snow removal, or extreme weather in their plans. Charging stations will also no longer be required to be less than 50 miles apart or within a mile of a freeway. States will have more discretion on charger locations. In a statement posted on the department's website, Duffy said this new guidance would speed things up. If Congress is requiring the federal government to support charging stations, let's cut the waste and do it right, he wrote. The Biden-Buttigieg administration failed to deliver EV chargers despite their promises. Our revised NEVI guidance slashes red tape and makes it easier for states to efficiently build out this infrastructure. Some of these changes, in particular, the flexibility about site location, have been celebrated by EV advocates and charging companies. Levi Kamelnick, the Director of Federal Policy at CalSTART, a non-profit that works with companies and governments to promote clean transportation, wrote, "We appreciate the department's overall efforts to cut red tape. Streamlining the program will unlock more financial gains, including good jobs." The Executive Director of the Electrification Coalition, a pro-EV non-profit, wrote in a statement he was encouraged by the department's commitment to removing unnecessary barriers. Ryan McKinnon, the spokesman for the Charge Ahead Partnership, which represents gas stations and retailers who want to add chargers, says the new guidance will particularly help states like Wyoming and Montana with big open spaces. But removing some requirements won't eliminate the need to find locations and contract with builders and pull permits, all of which takes time. And there's a common refrain in the EV charger world. While people don't mind the changes to the guidance, they are frustrated by the delay and disruption they caused. Alex Lasker of Third Way, who had been sharply critical of the inefficiencies of the Biden program, gave mixed reviews to the Trump administration revisions. He noted that some forms of red tape, like requirements about the type of charger, remain, and other requirements have been deleted after states had already completed the work to meet them, meaning it won't actually save any time or effort. Aside from loosening the requirements on location, the change is kind of a nothing burger, he says. This guidance was not worth holding up the program for, now over half a year. Andrew Bennett, the CEO of Drives, a company that builds software for charging stations, says the freeze disrupted a lot of projects that might have gotten greenlit this year. In the meantime, while chargers have been built with private money, Bennett says it's not enough. We need about 6 times more just to keep up. So, what do you think? Is the Trump administration's decision to unfreeze funds for EV chargers a step in the right direction? Or is it too little too late? Will the new guidance speed up the rollout of chargers, or will it just create more delays and confusion? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, the future of electric transportation is in our hands. So let's make sure we're moving forward, not backward.